So, Pearl, on that note, part of the scramble for us over the last couple of weeks is we made the decision to translate our behavioral questionnaire and parts of our platform into Ukrainian so we could make it available to Ukrainians who are refugees trying to resettle in new lands and trying to find their feet. I know finding work's not going to be the first priority, but once they get a roof over their head and they find a school for their kids to go to, an important part of normalcy for them is going to be finding the right employment opportunity, even if it requires some reskilling. And so we've been putting feelers out through the networks that we've got to put it into the hands of aid organizations and others that might be in a position to use this as a tool with Ukrainian refugees. Would you guys be one of those channels for us?
Yeah, potentially. So, send
Okay.
me the details. Let's have that discussion. That's
Yep.
interesting, isn't it? We didn't know. We're dealing with the crisis on hand, but you're right. We've got just so an example is here in Sydney, my local school. A Ukrainian family are now joining us in the next few weeks. And so that's an example, isn't it? It's like what's happening to the. I think they said 15,000 Ukrainians are going to be accepted into
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah,
What's
same
going to
thing.
happen
I
to
mean,
those?
there are going to be huge numbers coming here to Canada because we've got an enormous Ukrainian population, especially in the prairie provinces in the middle.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big cohort going to the US. And eventually, I think they're going to migrate back, but it won't be this generation. It'll be the next one.
Wow. Okay.
Brilliant. That's fantastic, Pearl. I've just posted in the chat for you. If you could send us, put through some links if you've got anything for Tony's video and the book for us to have a look at, that'd be great. Thank you. Jan. Jan, maybe you could continue on because that was a really interesting connection, and that's what we're all about. Give us your win for the week and a little update. That'd be great.
Well, I'd say the Ukrainian thing is a win that's brewing but hasn't fully popped yet. So we've got the wheels in motion. The translation's almost done. The trick now is going to be to put it in the right hands. The big win for the week is, we're suddenly having some enormous breakthroughs in the US with some major workforce reskilling initiatives. And, we're now suddenly finding ourselves on the radar of the Bloomberg Foundation, and some partners of ours are writing us into a grant proposal for an organization that is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates and the Walmart Foundation. And I mean, I was on the website after we'd had the conversation, and my jaw dropped when I saw the type of money, the types of names, the type of profile that would be behind this grant if it were to happen. So we've got a week to get the proposal in, and that would be a very big deal. And the thing that every one of them has in common is, this is about taking people who, for the most part, face barriers. They're either unemployed, underemployed, come from segments of the population that have typically faced barriers. Either they've got disabilities, or they're veterans, or they've never had access to meaningful education, meaningful work, and or they've been in entry-level jobs and stuck there in a ghetto, an employment ghetto, and giving them the tools to raise themselves up into jobs that are actually genuinely going to lead to middle-class level incomes for them and their families, so they can actually raise their families and give them a better life than what they were born into themselves. So it's exciting stuff all of a sudden starting to pop for us.
And I'd love to see that stuff, and at a later point in this conversation, talk about how it plugs into the system we're building and what we're winning.
All right. Yeah, great. Thanks, Chris.